वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 1, Text 11. Burani bhuri karmani shrotavyani vibhagashah atah sadhotra yatsaram samudrutya manishaya bruhi bhadraya bhutanam yenatma suprasidati.
Hare Krishna. There are many varieties of scriptures, and in all of them, there are many prescribed duties which can be learned only after many years of study in their various divisions. Therefore, O sage, please select the essence of all these scriptures and explain it for the good of all living beings, that by such instructions their heart may be fully satisfied.
सुत जानासि भद्रं ते भगवान् सात्वतां पतिः देवक्यां वासुदेवस्य जातो यस्य चिकीर्षया.
All blessings upon you, O Sutta Goswami. You know for what purpose the personality of Godhead appeared in the womb of Devaki as the son of Vasudeva.
Text 13. Tanna shrushurmaणानां महर्षज्ञानुवर्णितुं यस्य अवतारो भूतानां क्षेमाय च भवाय च.
O Sutta Goswami, we are eager to learn about the personality of Godhead and his incarnations. Please explain to us those teachings imparted by the previous masters, acharyas, for one is purified both by speaking them and by hearing them.
Text 14. आपन्नः संसृतिं घोरां यन्नां विवशो गृणन् ततः सद्यो विमुच्येत यद्धि भेति स्वयं भयम्.
Living beings who are entangled in the complicated meshes of birth and death can be freed immediately by even unconsciously chanting the holy name of Krishna, which is feared by the fear personified.
Text 15. यत्पाद संश्रया सूत मुनयः प्रशमायनः सद्य पुननन्ति स्पृष्टा सर्वं द्युपोनुसेवया.
O Sutta, those great sages who have completely taken shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord can at once sanctify those who come in touch with them, whereas the water of the Ganges can sanctify only after prolonged use.
Text 16. को वा भगवतस्तस्य पुण्यश्लोके यकर्मणः श्रुति कामो न शृणुयादक्ष कलिमलापहम्.
Who is there desiring deliverance from the vice of age of quarrel, who is not willing to hear the virtuous glories of the Lord?
Text 17. तस्य कर्माणि उदाराणि परिगीतानि सूरभिः ब्रूय न श्रद्धदानानां लीलया ददतः कलः.
His transcendental are magnificent and gracious, and great learned sages like Narad sing of them. Please therefore speak to us who are eager to hear about the adventures he performs in his various incarnations.
Text 18. अर्थाख्यारहृतिर्मन्नवता करा कथा शुभा लीलाविद दत्त स्वैरम् ईश्वरस्तस्या मायया.
O wise Sut, please narrate to us the transcendental pastime of the Supreme Godhead's multi-incarnations. Such auspicious adventures and pastime of the Lord, the Supreme Controller, are performed by his internal powers.
Text 19. Vayam tu na vitrupyam uttama shloka vikrame yat shrunvantam rasajnanam swadu swadu pade pade.
We never tire of hearing the transcendental pastime of the personality of Godhead, who is glorified by hymns and prayers. Those who have developed a taste for transcendental relish hearing of his pastime at every moment.
Text 20. Krutavana kilam karmani saha ramena keshavah ati martyani bhagwan guda kapatamanushaha.
Lord Shri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, along with Balrama, played like a human being, and so masked, he performed many superhuman acts.
Text 21. Kali magatamagnaaya kshetresmin vaishnave vayam asina dirgha satrena kathayam shakshana hariha.
Knowing well that the age of Kali has already begun, we are assembled here in this holy place to hear at the great length the transcendental message of Godhead, and in this way we perform sacrifice.
Text 22. Tvam naha sandashirto dhatra dustaram nis Tvam na sandishastro dhatra dustaram nistitir shatan kalim sattvaharam punsa karnadhara ivarnavam.
We think that we have met your goodness by the will of providence, just so that we may accept you as captain of the ship for those who desire to cross the difficult ocean of Kali, which deteriorates all the good qualities of a human being.
Text 23. Bruhi yogeshware krishne brahmanye dharma varmani swam kashta madhuno pete dharma kam sharanam gatah.
Since Sri Krishna, the absolute truth, the master of all mystic powers, has departed for his own abode, please tell us to whom the religious principles have now gone for shelter. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Please
Hare
forgive my
Krishna.
mispronunciation, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Very nice.
Please
Thank you
forgive,
so much. Very nice. Thank you. Thank you.
please forgive me for my any mistakes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
You both did very, very nicely. Thank you so much for inspiring us. Thank you. Okay, so this is the verse for today. We'll recite it once again. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraya Rashtraprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Bruhi Yogeshware Krishne Brahmanye Dharmavarmani Swam Kashtam Adunopete Dharma Kam Sharanam Gataha. Bruhi Yogeshware Krishna. We do synonyms word by word. Bruhi, please tell. Yoga Ishware, the Lord of all mystic powers. Krishna, Lord Krishna. Brahmanye, the absolute truth. Dharma, religion. Varmani, protector. Swam, own. Kashtam, abode. Adhuna, nowadays. Upete, having gone away. Dharma, religion. Come, unto whom? Come unto whom? Sharanam, shelter. Gataha, gone. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Jai Prabhupada. Translation: Since Sri Krishna, the absolute truth, the master of all mystic powers, has departed for his own abode, please tell us to whom the religious principles have now gone for shelter. Purport. Essentially, religion is the prescribed codes enunciated by the personality of Godhead himself. Whenever there is gross misuse or neglect of the principles of religion, the Supreme Lord appears himself to restore religious principles. This is stated in Bhagavad Gita. Here, the sages of Naimisharanya are inquiring about these principles. The reply to this question is given later. The Srimad Bhagavatam is the transcendental sound representation of the personality of Godhead, and thus it is the full representation of transcendental knowledge and religious principles. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the first canto, first chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Questions by the Sages. Om
Timirandasya
Ajnanandasya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Shri Rupam Sakrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishasamitam Shri Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kancana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivas Adi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Pracharine Nirvishe Punyavadi Paschata Deshakarine Makam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Langate Girinjat Kripatam Ahamunde Shri Guru Dinikaranam Paramanande Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hare Krishna. So this is the concluding verse and also the concluding questions by the sages. Bruhi Yogeshware Krishne Brahmanye Dharma Varmani Swam Kashta Madhunopete Dharma Kam Sharanam Gataha. Please tell, now this is such wonderfully worded. Yogeshware Krishna Brahmanye. So, how is Krishna described here? The question is about where, after Lord Krishna has departed for his own abode, to whom the religious principles have now gone for shelter. So the religious principles have to be nicely protected. So long Krishna is here or was there on his pastimes, he was the protector. Now the sages are asking a question as to whose shelter or under whose protection or where are now religious principles placed. And Yogeshwara, how is Krishna defined here? Two or three ways actually. Is packed between Please tell, Yogeshwari is the Lord of all mystic powers. Yoga and Ishwari. How many different types of yogas are there that we are aware of? Anyone?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Dandavat pranams. I don't know how many, but maybe I'll try. Is it Ashtanga Yoga, Karma Yoga? Is that the things, Prabhuji?
Yes. So, yes, that's it. So, Karma Yoga. So for example,
Bhakti Yoga, Dhyana Yoga.
Yes, Bhagavad Gita is divided into 3 sections. The chapter 1 to 6 is Karma Yoga, and 7 to 12 is Bhakti Yoga, and 13 till 18 is Jnana Yoga. And obviously there are Ashtanga Yoga and all those, so many types of yoga, as you said. But what is interesting is Lord Krishna is the Lord of all these different yogic followers. So whether someone is following karma, he has to follow Krishna. If someone is following bhakti, obviously he's the Lord of all the devotees. And even for the Gyanis, they have to follow Krishna. Yeah? Everyone's Lord is Krishna. So all these spiritualists, they are following dharmas. They're all very strong in their dharmic principles. Right? But all of their principles are all based on Sri Krishna. And Krishna is again described as Brahman, the absolute truth. So the dharma has to be defined by the absolute truth. What is interesting, I'm going to open something, that this verse is also described in Chaitanya Charitamrita. I'm going to try and open it. I've got lots of these things.
Prabhuji, sorry, Prabhuji. I think there is some disturbance. Could you mute everyone, please?
Yeah. Everyone's muted now. Thank you, Venkata. Okay. So this is interesting. So we have the exact same verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Leela, chapter 24, verse number 320. Lots of nectar here. And here again, the same verse. Bruhi Yogeshwara Krishna, Brahmanya Dharmavarmani, Swam Kashtam Adunopete, Dharma Kam Sharanam Gataha. Now, it's interesting how Prabhupada described this slightly differently in Chaitanya Charitamrita, even more sweeter. So, Bhagavad Gita is sweet, and Srimad Bhagavatam is, anyone? Sorry, I muted everyone. Sweeter. And Chaitanya Charitamrita is?
Sweetest.
Sweeter. Jai. Thank you so much. His Holiness Gaur Govind Maharaj, if anyone knows him, he used to be in Bhubaneswar, Odisha. He is described so beautifully, and he says his Chaitanya Charitamrita is sweetest. Not only that, is spoken or written in the sweetest language of the world of Bengali, but also the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya is sweetest of all. So how Prabhupada described here is Krishna Brahmanya is the protector of Brahmanical culture, and Dharma Varmani is the strong arms of religious principles. And obviously, I think this is most famous here. The verse is described as to where the answer of this verse is given. So this is very, very famous verse. Anyone wants to recite, or I can open it on the screen. Anyone know this? Our one of our devotees always chant this verse as part of his prayers. I'll open it. Then you will all know. Oops. slow. Wow, it's like spinning. I have bad internet. Oops. Today. I think someone went wrong. Is everyone there? Can anyone hear me?
Yes,
Prabhu.
Prabhuji.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Anyone would like to chant this?
Can't see.
Come on.
Prabhu, we can't see the
We
screen.
can't
Prabhu.
see.
You can't see?
No.
No, Prabhu.
Oh, this is what happened. My internet is gone really bad. Okay, sorry about that. I was wondering what's happening. My sharing stopped all of a sudden. I'm so sorry. Wondering what's happening.
We can see now. We can see this.
Now you can see. All right. Now you can chant. Please.
Shall I chant? Can I
Please.
try, Prabhu?
Yes, please.
कृष्णे स्वधामोपगते धर्म ज्ञानादिभिः सह कलौ नष्ट दशामेश पुराणोकदीदुनोदितः.
Yeah. Please read. Someone read the translation.
Can I read it, Prabhu?
Yes. Please.
This Bhagavad Purana is as brilliant as the sun and has arisen just after the departure of Lord Krishna to his own abode. Accompanied by religion, knowledge, expressor, person who has lost their vision due to the dense darkness of ignorance in the age of Kali shall get light from this Purana.
Jai. This is where the religious principles are now. Krishna Swadhamo Pagate Dharma Jnana Vidhi Saha Kalau Nishta Dasham Esha Puranarko Adhinodita. This is the, and what is more interesting is, I'm going to open something. It's beautiful how Chaitanya Charitamrita is so, it quotes so many verses from Bhagavatam, and it just feel like we can just study both the scriptures together. So this is what we were reading with 320. What I would like to do is, as to what's happening here. This is who's speaking. This is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu speaking, and this is the conversation between Sanatana Goswami and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Yes, and this is Sanatana Goswami says, "My dear Lord, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, the son of Maharaj Nanda. All the Vedic literatures are vibrated through your breathing." So in the verse there, we will come back, right? So again, it says, "My dear Lord, you are the original speaker of the Bhagavatam. You therefore know its real import. But for you, no one can understand the confidential meaning of Srimad Bhagavatam." Mahaprabhu's for the confidential meaning of Srimad Bhagavatam. It's all there in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. And What is beautiful? Maybe someone, it's really nice to read Bengali. Prabhu ko hai ke na kar amar astavan, Bhagavateras Swarupa kene na karva vicharana. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu replied, why are you glorifying me personally? You should understand the transcendental position of Srimad Bhagavatam. Why don't you consider this important point? And then Krishna Tulya Bhagavata Vibhu Sarvasraya Pratishloke Pratik Akshare Nana Arthakaya. Again, glorifying Srimad Bhagavatam. So there's so much glorification of Srimad Bhagavatam in Chaitanya Charitamrita. It feels so nice. There's so much taste in here. We can just go on reading, and this is the verse that comes along. And this is the verse we read after that one. We will just try to read the purport more and more, see what he's been referenced by Srila Prabhupada here. Then Prabhupada says, essentially, religion is the prescribed course enunciated by the personality of Godhead himself. Does anyone know which verse is this? Very famous verse again. Religion is the prescribed course enunciated by the personality of Godhead himself.
Is it Yada Yada Hi Dharmasya?
That's one here. Whenever there is gross misuse, neglect of principal religion, Supreme Lord himself appears to restore those principles. So this verse here, when I show you, you will know that one. This is the one. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavad pranitam. Srila Prabhupada quotes this verse so many times. And this verse is translated in the translation. Sort of fine. Anyone would like to read the translation, please?
Can I give it to Prabhuji?
Yes, please.
Hare Krishna. Real religious principles are enacted by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although fully situated in the mode of goodness, even the great rishis who occupy the topmost planets cannot ascertain the real religious principles, nor can the demigods or the leaders of Siddhaloka, to say nothing of the asuras, ordinary human beings, Vidyadharas, and Charanas. Charanas, yeah. Sorry, Hare Krishna.
We'll now read the purport. This is the conversation between Yamaraj speaking, the pastime of the Ajamava. So what is interesting is just to understand what is religious principle, what is dharma, who enacted it is enacted by Sri Krishna himself, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and it is confirmed in Bhagavatam. And Sri Krishna, as Mataji was reciting the verse from Bhagavad Gita as well, and that's Krishna, Sri Krishna saying, now if someone can read this verse, maybe everyone can chant. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuthanam adharmasya tadatmanam sajamyaham. So whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharat, and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself. So Lord Krishna appears to establish one of the three reasons, established to reinstate the religious principles. Yeah, that's the verse there. And this is stated in Bhagavad Gita. Now the sages are rightfully worried at this stage, saying that the scriptures, the religious principles are enacted by Krishna himself. And whenever there is a decline in the religious principle, Krishna appears and re-establishes. Now Krishna has gone to his own abode. Now what is happening to the religion? Without the religious principles, all the yogis, whose Lord is Supreme Lord Krishna, how can they function? Without the religious principles, they cannot function. And without the religious principles, no one can establish this absolute truth. So the importance of religious principles is being established here. In some place, I think this is again in What was that? Here. Prabhupada says, of the 6 questions that were raised by the sages headed by Saunaka, this question put before the question is the foremost of the 6 questions raised. This is Prabhupada's purport from Chaitanya Charitamrita. Some of these additional sweetness comes from Chaitanya Charitamrita. When we read the same verse here, Prabhupada gives some more icing on this cake. And this question is the most important question, because without the understanding of Dharma, no one can function. So everyone, that is the big confusion today. So what Dharma are we talking about? Because in Krishna, then towards the end of Bhagavad Gita, he says another verse. What does he say to Arjun as the concluding instruction? Anyone? Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja. After establishing, he says he's establishing all the dharmas, but he asks Arjun to give up all these religious principles. What religious principle is he asking Arjun to give up? Does anyone know? What is that? What is that religious principle we're talking about?
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, I'm not sure if it's about the Man Mana Man Bhakto Madhyaji Me Namaskar. Is that the one?
That is what Krishna is asking him to do. But he says Sarva Dharman Parityajya. Means he give up all the religious principles.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Is it worship of demigods?
Yes, that is one of those. Yes.
Yes.
So I wrote something now, so we will discuss more of this. So what are the religious principles and what is the dharma? So
Is it
yes,
sorry, Prabhuji. Is it something doing the karma yoga? So those things
yes.
maybe
So one of the description of the dharma is also duty, isn't it?
Yeah.
We also
Like Varnashram Dharma.
Varnashram dharma, yes. So we are all in different situations, situated in different situations. Someone is as you said, Venkat Prabhu, within the Varnashram, there are Varnas and ashrams. Someone is a student, someone is a teacher, someone is married, someone is Vanaprastha, someone is a scientist or whatever it is. So everyone seems to have their own duties to follow. Why those duties? And again, but those duties, what is interesting, those duties that are to be followed, Krishna is asking Arjun, when he's asking Arjun, asking all of us to give up all those reasons. Just do one thing, just surrender unto me. Why is he saying that? Sorry, this is for
Krishna.
quiz. Yes.
Because material activities won't take us to Krishna.
Yes, thank you so much. I will share some presentation. I'll come back to the verses again. Yes, so there are dharma of mankind. So each teacher, again, there are so many religions as well. Yeah, each teacher preaches his own particular version of dharma as to what is right. Someone says this is right, someone says do this, do that, this, do. And they're all, why are they speaking all different things? The question is, why can't they all speak, why can't they come in agreement and speak about just one religion? And what is that religion? What is that dharma? And why are they different? So this is the explanation by Bhaktivinoda Thakur in a book called Jaiva Dharma. I don't know if someone can get hold of this book. There's also some PDFs available. Very nicely, very detailed, explanation of Jiva Dharma. So who is Jivas? Jiva Bhuta. Who are the Jivas?
Living entities.
Yes, and that is us. All
Yes.
of us here are living entities. Yeah. So there is 2 types of dharma, as he describes. What we normally follow on day-to-day basis what is called is Naimitika Dharma. Naimitika Dharma means it is assigned to us. Yes. For example, when I was a student, I was studying. So that my dharma was to study when I'm in that particular age of my life. Then I get married, so my dharma then becomes to become a good husband or someone become a good wife or whatever. Yeah, and then once happened, then I have children, then I become a father or someone become mother. Or, then the dharma becomes what? Then I have to be a good father. So as father, I have to follow certain principles, certain duties, and then the son also has to follow certain duties. If I'm a citizen of this country, I have responsibility towards the nation. I have to follow those duties. So these duties are one thing is they're all temporary in nature. Like when I was a student, I had some duties. When I'm not a student, I have some other duty. Yeah. So this is constantly changing. And in this lifetime, I have certain body that I have. In another lifetime, I'll have some other body. Then I'll have duty to that body. With all those situations where it is related to the body and the material circumstances. And if we see carefully, everyone's 99.9% of the people, population or our own time goes in fulfillment of these dharmas. And Krishna is asking us to give up all this. So give up being a father or a teacher or a student. No, we can't give up that. We can't give. But what we do is, we do also what is called Nitya Dharma. Nitya Dharma is what? A dharma which is eternal, which will not change whether I'm a student or I'm a teacher or I'm a husband or father or mother or son or citizen or all situation, any of the situation. I think that's an agreement. My dharma will not change. Is that interesting? For example, Prabhupada always gives the example of water. What is the dharma of water? It's the liquidity. Yes, the water is liquid. And when the water is not liquid, that is, it's conditioned. So and then it becomes either ice or it could be steam, for example. So when it is not in its following its true nature, that's when the dharma changes. But the soul, which takes different bodies, the dharma becomes eternal dharma. What is the eternal dharma of a soul? Swabhava. What is the swabhava?
The nature of the soul is to love Krishna, I think.
Yes. Yes. Mahaprabhu described this in many ways. Mahaprabhu also described this as a soul. What does it say? Naham vipro nacha narapatir napi vaishyo na sudro naham varni nacha grihapatir no vanasto yatirva kintu prodya nikhila paramananda purnamrita bhadhe gopi bharatu padkamalayor dasa dasanudas. This is, again, this last sentence we say so many times. This is Mahaprabhu's word. He says, I'm not a Brahman, I'm not a Kshatriya, I'm not a Vaishya, I'm not a Shudra. As Venkat Prabhu said, I'm none of those Varnas, and not a Brahmachari, again, not a Brahmachari, householder, Vanaprastha, Sannyas, none of these things. I identify myself only as a servant of the servant of the servant of the lotus feet of Lord Sri Krishna, the maintainer of Gopi. Gopi, Bharatur, Padkamalayo, Dasa, Dasa, Dasanudas. Yeah. And he is the ocean. He's like an ocean of nectar. This is Mahaprabhu's speaking like what is this true position? If I'm none of these things, then Mahaprabhu is suggesting what? I'm just next to earth. And this is the dharma. जीवर स्वरूप है कृष्णर नित्य दास कृष्णर तथा शक्ति भेद अभेद प्रकाश सूर्यांश किरण जैसे अग्नि ज्वाला छय स्वाभाविक कृष्ण तेन प्रकार शक्ति है The science goes ahead with Chaitanya Charitamrita says it is living entity's constitutional position to be an eternal servant of Krishna because he is the marginal energy of Krishna and the manifestation simultaneously one and different, a bit technical now. But if we say simply, Jivara Swarupaya Krishnara Nityadas. So the original constitutional position, as Prabhupada explains this, or the dharma of a jiva is what? To become Krishna's Nityadas. But what happens to jiva? He forgets that. He forgets that situation because of the Karanam Guna Sanghasya Sat Asat Yoni Janmashu. Because of the contact with the material nature and with the three modes of material nature, jiva forgets his true nature and forgets his dharma. So Bhagavatam, again coming, Bhagavatam's dharma is what? Bhagavad dharma. What is Bhagavad dharma? Who can follow Bhagavad dharma? There's some stories if we take from Bhagavatam, if we can recall who are the different types of living entities or human or whatever who are able to worship Krishna. So Krishna is worshipped by a little child. Who are the two little children in Bhagavatam who are able to please Krishna?
Dhruva Maharaj and
Prahlad.
Prahlad.
A 5-year-old can perform this loving service to Krishna. So that is Bhagavad Dharma. It is not about someone a big yogi sitting in posture for thousands of years, or someone Gyani who is reading, books and books and books of scriptures. It can be 5-year-old, and then who else can follow? So Parikshit Maharaj could follow it. So Parikshit Maharaj Darshan. Parikshit Maharaj, his contribution of Bhagavatam is so wonderful, and everything about Parikshit Maharaj said is about Krishna. When he was in the womb of Mother Uttara, he saw Krishna, and then after that, every time his name is Parikshit. He's actually examining everyone to find where is Krishna, where is Krishna, where is Krishna.
Yes.
And so all his life, and along with Vajranabh, he established all the temples and beautiful worship of Sri Krishna he established. And when on his departure, he's established his dharma. So this is obviously Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam. And then who else is able to follow Bhagavad Dharma? In any body, like we got Gajendra following Dharma. He's an elephant. So in an elephant body also someone can follow. He could call Supreme Lord by his prayers. He could, because he surrendered himself to the Supreme Lord, he could call the Supreme Lord. Supreme Lord comes directly, very, very quickly. Yeah? And Hanumanji, Jamwant, and anybody's. And at the time of Ajamil, we just discussed in what situation he was, but he chanted the names of Lord Hari, and he was saved by the Vishnu Dutas. So
And the Draupadi as well.
Draupadi was protected, and Krishna became clothed for Draupadi. A sari. He accepted himself become a sari for Draupadi.
Yes.
And then so many different examples of Bhagavatam. So Bhagavad Dharma is anyone can follow. That is Mahaprabhu's contribution. That's what Mahaprabhu is trying to give us. What is that? Prema Pumartho Mahan. So ultimate dharma is what? To love Krishna, as someone said, I think Mataji said in the beginning. So that dharma is the highest, and that anyone can follow. Yeah. This and the whole of Bhagavatam is just full of the nectar that establishes that one principle of love, principle of relationship, prema between Bhagavan and Bhakta, which is bhakti. So That is the Srimad Bhagavatam, the sound in representation of personality of God. So now the Lord has gone back to his own abode. Lord has appeared in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam. This is the full representation of transcendental knowledge. This is this will, as we go on, we will obviously study more and more. I was just thinking now this is finishing the first chapter. Can we quickly revise? We got 10, I think, how long we go on until 5 minutes or maybe 10 minutes. If we can revise what we did in the first chapter, because tomorrow we'll start reading the second chapter. The first verse, Janmadasya.
Prabhuji, I think they're doing a summary tomorrow.
Are they doing? Oh, fantastic. Okay, then we'll not do that. Okay, thank you. That's fine then. Okay, so so I think this is, maybe we can discuss some more questions or answers or any queries. This is again Chaitanya Charitamrita is saying, Krishna bhuli sai jiva anadi bhir mukha akre eva maya tare deya samsara dukha. Forgetting Krishna, the living entity has been attracted by the external feature from time immemorial. Therefore, the illusory energy Maya gives him all kinds of misery in his material existence. The point goes again and again, the same, that when you forget Krishna, we get attracted to Maya. And that's when the jiva becomes conditioned. He forgets his eternal nature. Yeah, so I think I'm going to stop sharing. And I have one more, obviously. We are also discussing a little bit of where we are with the Chaitanya Charitamrita. We've distributed 35 sets. This is the sweetest literature that must go out, and it goes so much together with Bhagavatam. I would strongly recommend that every time we see some reference of the verse in Bhagavatam, we can again open the book Chaitanya Charitamrita and we can go back and forth from here to there. It just adds more and more nectar. So everyone can read, must read Chaitanya Charitamrita alongside and distribute as much as possible. And we have a target in front of us, and there's an appeal that everyone, do their best to give this best gift. Like people give gift for Diwali, for Christmas. This is like Gaura Purnima, which also happens to be holy for some. So this can be a beautiful gift that it can be given to many. So please do your best, and maybe we can discuss any comments, questions, concerns, complaints. Something like that. How much is one set to sponsor? Thanks. The details will be given tomorrow. So I think it is 75 pounds. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong. It's 75 pounds. Okay, I think we can finish sooner. Basis. Okay, Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I think we can finish now. There's no question.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhaiva cha patitanam
Namo
Vaishnavabhyo namo namaha.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Prabhuji. Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Thank you so much
Thank you,
for
Prabhuji.
wonderful.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you. Very nice class, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Start today. Thank you.
Hare